BigHerc916, my man Mike Escobar. We're tuned into another car talk. Muscle
Back in the
up.
house. Back in the house. Talk some more car stuff, man.
You know how we do it. If you guys haven't tuned in, go back and watch the first two episodes. This is episode number 3.
Yep.
And, we're car guys. Mike, tell people a little bit about, if they haven't seen the first two episodes, a little bit about your car history.
So basically, I going back my car game, my car history, started in San Francisco and started in the lowriding community. I grew up in the Mission District, which is predominantly Latin neighborhood. So as a kid, my parents would go take us out to the Mission District to go eat or whatever, Mission Street, and be all the lowriders cruising. And that's kind of got my my love for the cars. I see the cars cruising. I was like, this is so cool. I want to be part of this community someday, as I grew up. So just fell in love with it, man. The car game was just thick. And then everything evolved into like from the lowriders to like 5.0s to like just different style of cars. But I always had a deep, deep love for the lowriders, just because I grew up in that neighborhood, seeing them around. And it's crazy because now, fast forward to 2024, they're like thicker than ever. They're all over the place. I'm here in San Jose now. Now I see them everywhere.
Yeah. I guess I started kind of like growing up around Mustangs. Grandpa collected Fords, so I was around the Mustangs, Cadillacs, old schools. Always had a passion for cars, Hot Wheels, radio control cars, race car tracks, anything car orientated. I was always into it. And then fast forward, shit, man, I've had probably like 20, 30 old schools over the years. And yeah, man, cars are like my passion, my hobby. I breathe them, eat them, sleep, and but old schools in particular, muscle cars is really my thing. Um, I don't knock other cars. I mean, I'm a fan of JDM too. I like some of the European stuff, but American Muscle is just where my heart's at. So spent a lot of money over the years, man, on muscle cars. And on this episode, I want to get into shop stories.
Oh yeah.
And I know you got some good ones, man. So I'll let you kind of kick it off, man. As far as like one of the interesting stories maybe you want to share about a shop and your interaction, and you don't have to name the shop, or maybe a story you've heard about somebody who spent a lot of money at a shop and got played or got screwed over, or the shop was just fugazi.
Well, I'll tell you one of my first encounters with a shop horror was actually here in San Jose. Was this guy? He was known for custom paint jobs. He did a lot of badass. I don't know if you remember, like back in the '90s, the I would say late '80s, early '90s. It was all about those the ghost graphics on the lowriders. Candy paint with the ghost graphics and the pinstripe and outlining. So this dude, I'll say his name. He ain't even around no more, bro. I think he's done. Fucking paint shop. Fuck him. He did a lot of people dirty. Dude was I already was into drugs and all kinds of shit. But anyways, Alex Signs and Wonders. So I heard about him. I knew some people from Low Creation Car Clubs. That's an OG car club from Frisco. I think they're around to this day. Lowrider Club. I knew some of the guys, and they're like, yeah, we went to this shop in San Jose. Look up the homie Alex. Reached out to him. Tapped in with him. Got an appointment. Talked with him. Say, hey, you can do my car. All right, cool. Put my car in the shop, and gave me the ideas of what I wanted. And the fucking car sat for like, I would say a good year. I had hydraulics on it at the time, 2 pumps, 6 batteries, 10 switches, front, back, side to side, corner to corner, dumps up and down. And man, he had like some kids. I don't know what his responsibility was, but he always had like young kids hanging around, like young fucking dudes hanging around. And I think he kept my car at his house or something. And lo and behold, these fucking idiots drained my batteries, playing with my hydraulics, bro. They killed my batteries. So I had to get, not only had to get new batteries for the car, because he killed my hydraulic batteries. And those weren't cheap back then for me. Those are like 50, 60 a piece. I needed 6 batteries. The car sat for almost a year doing nothing. I literally had to like threaten the dude, like, hey, bro, why don't you just pay my money back that I gave you? Pay for the batteries that you killed. Let's reimburse me for that, and let's call it a day. Because if not, me and you're gonna have to have a fucking a man-to-man dance, bro. Because I've been real patient with you. I've been cool. I don't care if you're older, but I'm willing to risk it. I was a hothead. I was like 20 years old, 21, somewhere around there. So I was ready to just fucking light this dude up. And he eventually got to my car, eventually did it. And I was like, it took all that, huh, for me to threaten you? You're lucky I really didn't get stupid and bring my goons down here and tear your whole shop up. But I always just wanted my car done, man. So that's one of my shop horrors, bro. And I knew, like, from that point on, like, these guys are all fugazi, man. A lot of these guys are fucking clowns, these painters. I hear stories that they fucking do drugs or gambling degenerates and they take your money, never work on your car. And here we are 20, 30 years later, damn near, and these fuckers are still the same. Not just painters, but regular, all kinds of shops, from the lowriding community to the muscle community. They're all rob Peter to pay Paul, So the guy who originally built my 69 Camaro, I'll give him a shout out because he did good by me. Jason, Gearhead Garage, he did a solid job, bro. He built it on time. They looked over a couple of things, but nothing big, nothing minor shit. Made it to SEMA. But then the second shop that I took it to, it's kind of just been dormant for a while, stagnant. They did some work, little bit at a time here and there. But finally it's coming to an end, man. Finally, new owner of the shop. We made an agreement. I kind of pretty much paid the car in full to get done. So here we are, close to the door now. But that's one of my. I haven't had too many shop horrors because I haven't had a lot of cars in the shop like that. I've had mostly bolt-on stuff. I had a 5.0, so I just had the typical wheels, system, a little shit like that. I haven't had too many cars painted. I had a J30 Infinity, all custom, but the shop that I did with South City Rich, I remember, I don't remember the name, but they did a fantastic job, man. Knocked it out real pros, they didn't mess around. So that's really my only shop horrors that I've had. But there's other people that I've heard have to go 3-4 shops to get a car done.
Yeah, well, I'll start off with my first one. There was a shop I was dealing with this guy. I don't know if he's still around, but I took one of my first old schools there, and I want to say it was a 70 Chevelle, sitting on some 22 IROCs, and I took it to him, and red. It was clean. I forgot what was going on with it, but I took it to him. I forgot how I met this guy, and he fixed it. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then I had what did I have after that? I had I had a 70 Camaro. I think I had him look at that, do a few things, and then I had a 66 Mustang, and he hooked that up. And so he clutch, AC, a couple other little things, power windows, all that stuff. And the car, I bought the car off eBay, took it to him, the clutch was all messed up, wouldn't really shift right. He fixed all that, got the AC working, all the power in the car it drove like a new car. And so I'm like, okay, this guy's on point. So I took him. I had a 65, a 66 fastback Mustang, and then I had a Ferrari Daytona replica. I took him that. So I brought this guy a lot of money to the point where he left the shop he was working at, and he started his own shop. So then when he started his own shop, I brought him another high-end customer, and I also had an 82 Porsche 928 with him. I had a 79 Porsche 928. I had and then, well, actually before that, I actually paid him to go pick up a project car out of Texas and drive it back. And it was a 76 Porsche 911 Targa with big ass flares. I had a 350 I was going to throw in it, and he was going to build it for me. But something happened. It got delayed, so I ended up selling that project, and I kept that motor. But the 82 Porsche had an LT1, and while that car was there, I had a 79 Porsche over there too, a 928. He was working on both of them, and he convinced me on the 928 to pull the LT1 out and use the 350 and build it. Now, had I known what I know now, I could have just went and got a motor from Summit and had like an LSA or an LT1 supercharged. I could have, I would have been better off. So he convinced me, and I gave this guy I gave him about probably like 11, 12, like $9,000 cash, and then another like maybe 6, 7 grand. And he was supposed to build a motor, finish the car. I was supposed to have like the quickest 911. It's supposed to be hot. he's going to build a tranny, all this stuff. Well, the car sat for like months, and then I go by there, and he be bullshitting, and then he keep blaming on the engine builder, I'm gonna go beat him. I'm gonna do this, do that. Then the guy had a wedding, and so what I think he did is took my money, that 16, 17 grand, put it on his wedding, and paid for his wedding. And then I come to find out from the owner of the shop that he was leasing the space that he hadn't paid his rent in like 3 or 4 months, so they were going to foreclose on him. So I had to turn around and get a tow truck and literally like tow like 3 cars out of there. Dude was a piece of shit, man. He turned out to be a piece of shit. I made him a lot of money. I made him over 6 figures. Piece of shit dude. He started off good and just turned out to be a fuck boy. You know what I mean? And a lot of these shop dudes, I don't know if they, like you say, get hooked on drugs or, Peter paid Paul or what the case may be, man. But, people treat them good. I've always treated my mechanics good. Cash, you need something. I'm always, I always try to stay ahead of my bill. But that guy, man, he really screwed me over, man. And I had to pray and meditate, man, because I really want to hurt that dude, man. That dude had me really, really hot, man. There's times I was trying to figure out how could I do something to this dude and get away with it. That's how mad I was, because this guy, he played me, man. And I thought he was a friend, and he ended up being a piece of shit. But these shops, man, when you're building cars, and even like, there's some high-end shops out there. Still, they're pieces of, some guys just have no integrity in the game.
Yeah, these people, man, it's a dirty business. It trips me out because I come from also, I've worked in the trades like roofing, plumbing. I've done some contracting work. I've done some stuff in the past. And one thing I know that I learned when I got out of federal prison, I did roofing for a while. My boy had a company, hired me, because you need a job, you need a paycheck. So I wanted to get out of that halfway house. So I got a job as a roofer, and I started learning the business ins and outs. And one thing I remember, my boy would quote the job. They would put a deposit. The material would arrive the next day or whenever we start tearing the roof apart. The following day, the materials arrive, so we could put back the roof together. And the customer would always pay when the job was done. And I think things need to change in this auto industry, the way things are done, because these dudes are crooks, man. A lot of times I've heard worse stories. There's somebody like somewhere here in the Bay or somewhere where dude was just taking cars and people's money and just pocketing and cashing and not paying nothing. And eventually got like closed the shop down and everybody had to come pull their cars. Like, these guys are just pieces of shit. And some of them don't get no cases. They don't even get charged. They should get like, what I'm saying? Like some kind of federal or state case or something, because that's dirty.
Well, I think some of these guys just need an old fashioned ass whooping. You know what I mean? Because that right there will wake them up, and maybe somebody busting them side the head and have a black eye and nose swelling. It'll teach these guys a lesson, man. Because when you say you're going to do something, like me, I'm not going to say I'm going to do something and not do it. I mean, my word is everything. But I remember there was another shop where there was a guy. There was another shop. I took my car to him, and they're like, this is how a lot of guys get you. This is what you guys got to watch out for. Watch out for these shops that have like a sick ass car in there.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh man, you're like, oh, you guys built that? Turbos, sick ass car, sick paint, interior. That's how they get you, because they know, they're like, if they have that car there, and that car is probably a customer's car, they never gave it back to the customer, but they use it like as bait to get people in.
Yep.
And you see that and you're like, oh man, you did this. Yeah, man, we build badass shit, blah, 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 blah. And so you're thinking, okay, this guy, and then they'll maybe have another car in the back that's hella sick. So you'll see 2 sick cars and maybe some other stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, this shop is legit. The best thing I can tell a person, get a hold of some of the customers, say, hey man, can I talk to a couple of your customers, and find out from them.
Yes, that's a smart idea. Honestly, that's very good. That is very good advice. Get a hold of them and find out what's going on, because I think, I don't want to clown too much, but my car might have been used as a bait car for the shop that it's at. And I brought in a lot of people. And eventually the cars got done, but it's been a nightmare. It wasn't smooth selling, It was a lot of transition. The people that used to work at the shop all kind of quit on the owner. It's kind of bad, It kind of sucks. And
see, that tells you something. When people quit like that, or they can't keep employees, a good shop, the only employees that leave are people that get like basically pulled away because they're getting paid double somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because most shops, if it's a good shop, people, it's like family atmosphere. People love working there.
Yeah.
And the automotive world, is small. Like you say, you're in the Bay. You could probably, if you contact a couple people, you could probably within a circle of 5 to 10 people, you could find out every top shop in the Bay because
Yeah.
they talk. Everybody talks.
Yes.
So, that's why I said it's good to talk to people because I remember going to a shop, high end shop, and I was doing some other business there, and they had Lambos, Ferraris, poor sick ass. And what this guy would do, he would have some of them sick ass cars on a lift, like a Diablo or some other car, and he'll take your car apart. But he's not a mechanic. He have guys come in and do the work, charge you, marginalize the labor from the guy who took the motor, take the motor to another shop, have them machine it. He don't know because he said he took his motor to a machine shop. The machine shop can machine anything, but they don't put motors together. The shop I took my motor to, they do Chevys and Fords. He didn't even know how to put the motor together, so he took apart a Lamborghini motor. He's asking the guy, "Hey man, you know somebody who can put this motor back together?" Dude,
You
you know
can't.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy, bro. But then he's at the car shows and he's in a Huracan and he's flossing and he's got all these people and like you said, his shop car, it looks like it's immaculate.
Yeah.
Exhaust, wheels, wrap. It makes it look like, oh yeah, I got a shop. Gives you his card, come see
Yeah.
me. And dude, and most people who drive like, especially the high end cars, Lambo, Ferrari, they have like 4 or 5 cars, 6 cars. If you got an old school, you probably got 2 or 3. So you're not tripping. So they get you because you don't realize 1 week turns into 2 weeks, 2 weeks into a month into 2 months, and then so you're like, hold on, man. And then you find out like part of your car is in the shop across town.
Yeah. It's dirty, man. The game is so dirty. I had a boy, man. He was in the same shop I was. Pulled out his 66, moving it AZ Chevelle twin turbo, tubbed, badass car, Ruby or Brown. He spent bread on it. That thing's showpiece. He's talking shit like I'm gonna put it in the shop in Arizona. They're gonna say they have it within 6 months, done within 6 months. I think he's going on like fucking 3 years. That car's still not done. It's still in Arizona. Like, what happened, man? I think I'm gonna call him and check up, but I think his car's still not done. He spent the
Damn.
job to do like 30 G's to get started to get it done. I think he's 50 into it, and the dude still ain't done. On top of all the other bread that he dropped already previously into the car. So I feel bad for him, bro. He's sinking into a fucking deep hole. Like, man, it's a beautiful car too, man. It just ain't getting done right. It's getting
Well, see,
done.
that's the thing. People know that when you got that much invested in your car and you love your car, it's different than like, to me, like a guy who went and bought like a spec Ferrari or a spec NSX or something. Okay, you get the car, whatever. But when you start putting the car together and you're buying like rack and pinion or suspension,
Yeah.
wheels, you kind of have a connection. That's like your baby. You're like,
Yes. You're
you're,
seeing it come together.
and you picked it out. The wheels you had to wait maybe 6 weeks. You know what I mean? The paint you had to wait, a year. I mean, I got a car in the shop right now. Been in the paint shop for a year, so it's not as easy to disconnect from the car as it is a car you just go and buy and it's you know what I mean? It's specced
Yeah.
out, but it's just you don't really have any hands in the build process.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man. I mean, in the good shops, man. I mean, even those shops, like some shops, oh, we charge 2 something an hour. You're like, goddamn, 2 something. Then you get there, and you're thinking, okay, they charge more, so maybe they're better. Those shops are shit too.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
You know what I mean?
They're not what people think they are. You're right.
You know?
It's just amazing me how many crummy ass, scummy ass people are in this game building the cars, how much shitty ass shops. And there should be like, maybe me and you should do that. Maybe we should get an app where people can go online and find out, let's check this app and get the list of shops not to go to. Like, let's do our homework, type of shit to warn people because it is dirty. They bait you. And now that I look at it, like that's so smooth. I never thought about that. Like how many guys go to shows or meetups with a nice car, a shop car, whatever their so-called car, and they bait you with it, like, oh, you built this, and they know all the specs, and you're like, oh shit, I got a car, I'm interested. They give you their car. Next, you're going there and they're smooth talking and everything sounds good, and they're selling you a fucking pipe dream, because it is a pipe dream. It's a lot of bullshit.
It is, and you gotta when they start saying like I'm like now I'm very like I went to a car show Saturday and the guy had a car there and it's parked and he's like, yeah, blah blah blah. And now I'm kind of like, hold on, man, let me, when you start talking to people, they say they do stuff, they might look the part, maybe a Rolex on, some nice Kenneth Cole, they look like their money, their car, but then those I tell you, man, the biggest con men I've seen, they look like they're money and they're really full of shit. So you got to really look at the people, not the material thing, like what their persona is, but then you got to like kind of watch them and like I said earlier, ask some of their customers how their interaction been with this particular builder because um, I've met some guys. Like my wife met a guy at a lowrider show. It wasn't a lowrider; it was a regular car show, but there were some lowriders there. And we asked him like, "Who did your interior? Who did your paint?" He's like, "Oh man, I did my paint. I got an old guy and his family to do interior." I'm looking at the interior. I'm like, "Damn, this interior is pretty clean, man." I mean, it was stock, but the guy did it to spec,
Yeah.
man. And so I'm looking. I'm like, "Well, how much you pay for that?" And he told me like I want to say, dude, like 4 racks, 45. I'm like, there's no way. I said, what? And he's like, yeah, like 4 racks. I'm like, dude, and I've seen like that interior at another shop for like 30 grand. You know what I mean? Like some shops you're charging you crazy. I can understand if you got a billet machine, little shit,
Yeah.
or whatever. But, yeah, man, the game is, because we're passionate and you get excited, you got to
Yeah.
learn to control your emotion when
Yes, you
you're
do.
building these cars. And these shops, a lot of times they're backed up, and a lot of these shops are like maybe they're at the top. They're maybe 2-3 man operations. Very few shops. Have you been to a lot of shops that have like 10 guys?
No, no. The problem is they would have like fucking 30 cars and like 3 or 4 dudes. Like, how the fuck you got so many cars, man? How are you gonna get to all of them? How are you gonna get this shit fixed? How are you gonna get
Yeah,
these? And what's crazy is my boy just recently. So he's like, man, help me find like a dashboard, help me find console and some stuff for my '68 Camaro. I'll buy it. So I reached out to my other partner about, hey, what shop do you know that pre-sells stuff already? And he goes, look up Fessler. Fessler's, I think, where you're at, Arizona. Fessler sells
okay,
everything.
yeah. I've heard of Fessler.
Fessler's got gauges, dash, console, seats, door panels, everything all prefab, ready to go. My boy's like, I'm gonna get everything from them, but I'm gonna use my card and I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna order it. I'm not gonna have the shop order, and I'm not gonna pay on like smart man. You order everything. You tell the dude that, like, I'm ordering it, and when it gets here, I'll bring it over. Because again,
Yeah,
these shops, you give them money, you think like, I want this, and that. You give them a list of shit. They go on the computer, they pretend they ordered, you get your card. These motherfuckers don't even order your shit. They order somebody else's parts because they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're hoping another person comes behind them and they're going to do it to them so they can pay for your shit. It's a dirty fucking game. They think
yeah.
people they've been getting away with it for too fucking long, and they need to get exposed, and they need to get their head knocked off for that, man, because that's dirty, taking people's money.
You're almost right. So you gotta like if you're gonna get certain things, and I've seen where I'm always on Instagram. I've seen there's a couple places where you can get like door panels, like you said, center consoles for certain Chevelles, Camaros, and if you have the material, almost like TMI, they'll
Yeah.
give you all the stuff, and then
Yes.
you just have somebody install it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's like a shortcut. Another thing is like you said is if you want to go like say Holly Sniper EFI, order all the shit you need and bring it to the shop so
Order.
that
Yeah.
way you know that they got the shit. Because like you said, I was dealing with a shop and he's like, oh, I got to get your drive shaft, bro. It's been like 3 months. I ain't got no fucking drive shaft. You know what I mean? Because they
How long
keep,
does that take? Yeah.
dude, the drive shaft is one day. You measure, you cut it, you put it on there. But these guys, they use that as excuses. And if you can't just pop up, because I used to do pop ups, and they're like, "Hey man, why do you call me? Tell me you're coming by the shop. You know, I'd have been ready." Dude, that's the point. I don't want you to be ready. I want to see what the hell you're doing when I'm not around.
Lost you there for a minute.
Yeah, it went in and out.
Yo, would you say you used to do pop-ups in these shops? Oh, you used to pop up on them? Oh, I love doing that.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happened?
You know, you pop up and the dude look like he's about to shit himself because your car's on a lift and he ain't done shit to it, and it's got the same dust mark that you put like this, like when last time you were there.
That's smart. I never thought about that. Same dust mark.
Yeah, yeah, the same dust mark. I'm like now after I finish this my Chevelle, I'm gonna enjoy my shit, but I'm really gonna be particular about who does my next build because I want to build my wife a car, and I have a car that we've been talking about for years. But I'm gonna make sure you know. I knew a guy. And I don't have the room right now, but I knew a guy. He had two or three lifts at his house, and dude, this guy was balling. He had a whole shelf, like probably like 2.5 stories high of Nissan GTR parts. He was into GTRs, and he had all the tools, all the parts, turbos, all this shit. He would have the guys come to his house because he had his back of his house. He had a garage and he had a hangar, and he had a damn airplane in there. But he would come. They would have him come to his house, and they would work at his house after they left their shop. So he knew when they were working on the shit.
That's
You know what I
smart.
mean?
That is
Yeah,
smart.
yeah. So they can't say like oh, Mike, we got 20 hours over here. We got 100 hours over here.
Yep.
It's like, dude, nah, bro. I remember you came by after dinner for like an hour or 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Because that's another scam right there. It's like, oh, we got motherfucker is charging you. Oh, we got 20 hours this week in your car. Where? Show me. What'd you do? It looks the same as me. Oh, we
Yeah.
did this, and that. Really? Because it looks the same exact to me, man. Ain't nothing. What hours, bro? You know, it's such a dirty fucking game. And I
Even
think,
when they say, like you said, 20 hours, I'm like you. You're like, let's say 20 hours. Okay, I do the math. 8 hours in a day. Okay, 40 hours in a week.
yeah,
20 hours meant you spend half the shop week on my car. Now, I see what you guys do. You get a tool, you bullshit, you go over here, you look at YouTube, you know what I mean? Really 20 hours?
yeah,
Hard,
exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why, honestly, man, there's a dude out here. I'm gonna shout him out. He's fucking dope, dog. This dude is legit. SS Gabe, man, badass. I referred a few people to him, and I reached out to him, but he's booked out. He's a one man show, but he does clean as SS builds, trannies. Pro turn builds. He puts a motor in. Tranny. He does all the drivetrain. He doesn't do the paint, obviously. He subleases. What do you call that when you
Subcontracts?
yeah, he subcontracts the work, and he deals with DJ designs for interior. But dude is legit, man. He's a one man shop. I'm like, man, too bad you don't have a real open up your own shop. But I think he doesn't trust anybody else touching the car. He does all the work, and this shit comes out clean. You got to find
He's
him on.
what, man?
He's out here on the bay, yeah, but he can only do so much, and he does clean ass work. Like sometimes
See,
those
that's
one
the thing.
man,
Like, those guys, you can't. I mean, I met some guys like that, but like, dude, like you said, it's like a year and a half waiting list.
it sucks. He's a year out, and the work is so damn good, though. You're like, man, I wish I could just fucking pay you to work on my car at all times, like because these guys are dedicated. Those guys, for some reason, are always the better ones to go to. Then you go to a so-called shop, and they're just dicking you around. They're not even touching your fucking car. They're fucking around with everybody else's car.
Now, if you just have and because I tell people sometimes you got a pocket full of money. Even with a pocket full of money right now, is there any shop that pops in your head that you just go there and you think they would get it done any faster? Because some people think, oh, I got money, blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, some shops it don't matter. These motherfuckers are still gonna play game.
Off top of my head, no. But there's a shop that I would go to. If money wasn't an issue and I wanted to build a sick ass car, I think I'd go to Roaster Shop. They have a good reputation. And
So that's right.
they have a big crew. They have a big crew too. They actually
See,
have a
look,
big
look,
crew.
look what you're saying. You're saying roaster shop. That means you're from California, bro. That means you got to go. You're talking going all the way to goddamn Illinois. You know
Yeah.
that's how crazy it is because I'm from Cali too. I'm in Arizona now, but if I want to get good work, like even out here, I'd be like, okay, like in my mind, I got 300 racks. I want to build a sick ass. I'm gonna bring them the car, and I want them to get it done, start to finish. Off the top of my head, there's no shops. I mean, there's some shops I heard of. I'm gonna visit them out here that I've heard of, but there's nobody I can truly say that if somebody said, Big Herc, I got 300 racks, who would you recommend? I can't honestly say I would trust anybody that
Me
say they go
neither.
there.
Me neither. I'm the same. I'm in the same boat. It sucks because I referred a friend of mine to a shop out in Sacramento, Dodge Charger, 70, I believe. He won everything, Hellcat mode, everything, baller. He got the money, everything. The fucking shop never touched his car. Took the car out there, everything, quoted him, gave them money to do this, and this, and that. Motherfuckers never did nothing. I didn't get involved in it, and I should have. I should have told Shaw, like, bro, what are you fucking doing? This guy's like, this is the kind of client you want. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you getting on the fucking car? What's the problem? What's going on? He eventually had to pull the car from that shop. He had it at a shop in Utah, but they wanted like stupid fucking money, like close to 300 to do the whole car or some shit. 350. They went crazy on the quote. He said, "Nah, I'm good." Pulled it from that shop, brought it back to Cali, put it in this other shop up near Sacramento, and gave him some money. They did like a little bit of work, nothing. He ended up pulling it, like fucking dropped the ball. Like, I gave you guys a fucking golden customer, and you dropped the ball, bro. Like, what the fuck?
And see, what these people don't realize is that those customers talk to their friends. And they got friends that got the same kind of money that would want the same build if it was done right. And
Yeah.
that's why these companies like, I see like Revology, they do a lot of the Mustangs really
Yes.
clean. Like you said, Roaster Shop,
Yep.
um, uh, uh,
Classic recreations.
Classic Recreations, Kindig, Goolsby Customs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shops. I feel like from going to SEMA, like down in like Alabama, down in the South, like North Carolina, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
Those families that have been working on cars since the early like 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
those guys have integrity. Like those dudes, their family, they take pride in their shit. They don't just like they're not just building a car to try to bait people in and then trying to hustle Peter to pay Paul. And that's
Yes.
what you get a lot of on the West Coast. Man, these guys, they'll build one badass car, and then, dude, every other car is half built.
Yes. That's true. Right there. You're that part. And I think people need to fucking be more educated and aware. Because there's a lot of badass shops, man. But like you said, I don't trust any of them. I know that one shop is badass in SoCal that built the '69 Camaro that Kevin Hart bought, Timeless Custom.
Oh,
They're
you
pretty
talking about? Oh, yeah, Timeless Customs. Now, I haven't heard
legit.
anything bad about them.
Me
And then what
neither.
about the other guy, Steve? Is it Steve Holcomb?
Steve.
You know the guy he did some of Joe Rogan stuff too. Didn't that guy with the long? You know what
Oh,
I'm talking about?
Steve Strope, I think is his name.
Steve Strope. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty legit. But other than that, I think there's Hollywood Customs that's pretty good. Fuck, man, what else? There's another dude who is known for building hot rods that's pretty good. Uh, he's Boyd.
SoCal.
He came out of Boyd Coddington's shop. He just does
Oh,
hot rods.
Chip Footh.
Chip's good. Chip's good. I almost went to Chip early on, like 10 plus years ago. I was trying to get an appointment with Chip and have him build my Camaro. I should have just went with Chip.
I haven't. You know what? I
But I
don't
don't
want
know.
to
I don't have anybody like you. I don't know anyone personally that got a car done by Chip.
see. I would have to get like because I remember I mentioned Chip to somebody. I mentioned Kindig, and people are like, but like, because see, my thing is too this right. And I don't know. I've never driven a Chip car or a Kindig car, but if I'm spending over 100 racks, I better be able to drive my car like I was in Cannonball Run.
Yes,
You know what I mean? If I can't drive my car like that, and I spent that kind of money, then I should have just spent 100 grand and got a Ferrari.
that's true. You're
You know what
right.
I mean?
Everything
So
should be, everything should be tightened down. And don't. And here's another thing, man, for the shops is, listen, motherfucker, when the car is done, don't give it back to the customer right away. Beat on it, drive it up and down. Beat on it, drive it up and down. You put the fucking miles on. Beat on it. You see if you can break shit on it. That way, if you break it, you can replace it. You tighten the bolt down. 'Cause once you get your Chevelle down, now notice this, both of us. Once we get our cars back, they're really not done. We got to put some miles on them, and then you got to go back and re-go
uh,
over everything and make sure everything what got loose, tighten everything back down again. That's what scares me about a new build. Like, you got to break it in. It's not completely done. You got to break in the motor. You got to make sure the brakes are working. You got to put some mileage on. You got to kind of cruise it at first. You can't get crazy with it. Maybe like at 200-300 miles, take it back to the shop. Like, all right, I want you to do a do over, pass over
yeah.
on it, go over everything, because they should be doing that though. I think they should have a program where they should do that.
No, you're right. You should put test miles on the car, and by the time I get it, you done make sure the belt's not going to jump. It's
Yep.
not going to overheat.
Yes.
The brakes aren't going to leak. Master cylinder is not going to leak. There's no wheel wobble. There's no fucking. There's
Yeah.
no bullshit. That. But see, this like you said, like from my situation, when a car is done, this dude had me so I just want to be. I don't even want to I don't even want to really see this dude, man. I'm gonna be so when I get my shit back, and my goal is to get it back, and then when I'm really balling, dude, you're not getting no more of my money because you played yourself. Because see, these people they look at you and look at me and they're like, oh, you're just another customer, and they don't know, like you said, I could be bringing you guys a shit ton of money, and I could be marketing your shop, but because of the way you treated me, you failed the test, and you don't even know you were being tested.
Nah, dummy. And I tell people I got a huge social media platform, bro. My page is legit. I've had it over 10 years. So I know a lot of people in the car community. I could bring a lot of shops business. I told the shop on my cars out, like, I could have this place full if I want to, but I'm not going to recommend nobody no more because, in the previous, I want to talk bad about it, but the dude who owned it before kind of like dropped the ball on a lot of shit. The new owners took over. They've been doing good, getting things done. But I'm still a little sketchy about it. I don't want somebody to refer somebody and then they're pissed off because I brought them in and their shit's not getting done. I just don't. I don't. My trust is very, very low in these shots, man. Unfortunately.
I think a lot of it is too also is that these shops over over promise
Oh yeah.
and underperform. Not to say they're not a good shop. Maybe if they only took in what they could get done. But
Yes.
whenever if I go to your shop and my car's been there for 6 months or a year, and then you keep having new cars come in, it's like, dude, what do you do? I know you got to make money, but you can't even finish the shit you got in here.
That's because they don't know how to balance their books. I come to that conclusion. They might be good builders. They might be all that and then some. But what they're horrible at is businessmen. They don't know how to balance their books. So in order to keep their books balanced and keep people paid, they need to keep new, fresh money coming in. But when that happens, all that new money coming in, say you're part of that new money, that new wave of new customers, you're in the back burner. This guy's already way ahead of you here, so he's probably getting close to being done. But he had to go through a lot of shit to get to him, and you're way at the end, and it sucks. And it sucks because they're not honest. They're very dishonest with their customer. They're dishonest about how long it's going to take. They're dishonest about how much it's going to cost. Like you should be a layout. Like, listen, should be a chart. Paint, how much? Interior, how much? Electrical, how much? Brakes, how much? Suspension, how much? Engine, drivetrain, rear end, how much? Wheels, how much? System, how much? I need a breakdown of everything. And that's where the fuck we're going to pay right there. That's what I'm going to pay you, not a penny more. Now, we add custom shit along the side. We'll do a separate bracket for the custom work and how many hours it's going to cost. And that's how it's the fucking breakdown. And I'm not even a fucking shop owner or whatever, but I know now from being in years of this, that's how I would run it. That's how you run it, that you know exactly how much things are going to cost. You should be long enough in this game to know how many hours things are going to take. Now, if you start doing one-off things, I get it. That costs a lot of time and labor. So you have to be like, I have to charge you as I go, like East Bay Muscle Cars, my boy Steve. I'll give him a shout out. He does good work. But he's honest with his customers because you want a SEMA build, $1 million. Because I might have to do something over 4 or 5 times to get it right because it's a one-off thing piece.
Yeah, I seen that East Bay. They're high end.
Yeah, he told me that. I go, how much you charge? He goes, he said, I can't really tell you because I have to do things over sometimes 3 or 4 times, and it's not on my dollar or my hour. It's on theirs because
Wow.
I don't have a blueprint. He's honest. He goes, the one-off shit. If you look at his builds, all his shit's one-off stuff. So I respect that. At least he tells them that going in. But if you want some bolt-on and you want this, and that, he'll give you ballpark like starting at 350. That's what I heard. I didn't hear from him from other people. He starts at 350 and up.
Now, okay, a shop like that. Have you seen any of his cars like really being beat on to where like these things are proven? You know what I mean?
No, but what I will say is I have talked to some previous owners. I had the car, and none of them ever said anything bad about him. Nothing online. One was selling the Camaro, and nothing bad about him. So I was like, okay. So usually somebody will have some shit like, fuck this guy, he's no good, don't go to him. Never heard nothing bad about him. And it's a small community. You know that. All it takes is one bad apple to blast you to go out there like, man, fuck this guy. He's full of shit. His cars don't perform. And he races too, Steve. He himself is a racer. So I think he knows how to build them for performance. He's not just building them for looks.
Okay. See, that's another thing too. Is like going back to, like I said, I haven't driven a Kindig or a Boy car or a Kindig, but or a Fuse car. But when you build a car at that level, and you say like you're saying 350, million, half mil, dude, that car. And I look at some of these shops, I'm like, dude, you have all these cars, and you show them coming out, everybody's happy, clapping, whatever. But dude, the owners, are they driving these cars or just parking them? I want to know that you've taken that car, and you don't have to do autocross, but maybe you took it on a track, you took it across country, you took it on a rally. This car, has, because that gives your brand value. Like
Yes.
if me and you had a shop and we had a car like Big Red that's done Pikes Peak or Half Mile or whatever, and people like,
Silver
dude,
State against Ferraris, the Ferrari killer.
yeah, yeah. I
He's
mean,
killing them
dude,
all.
your brand now has a sense of being uh, credible because your cars actually perform. Like
Yep.
I look for cars like whenever I see on Instagram, oh, this car right here, and I look at, I'm like, damn, this guy built a sick ass car. Why isn't there any videos of it? You know what I mean? Where's the videos at? Your car's not doing. I'm not saying to go do a takeover, but I mean, dude, you haven't taken your car to Mexico to do, top end, or you haven't taken your car to the track at least once. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's just like a guy. Oh, I bought a new Ferrari. It's got 700 horsepower. What's the fastest? Oh, I only took it up to 100 because it's like, why'd you even buy it? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, you bought it and you barely got, 1,000 miles on the car. And I'm not saying you got it, but goddamn, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. Like I respect Hennessy. I know a lot of people talk shit
Oh
about
yeah, 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 yeah,
but that
yeah,
motherfucker's cars,
yeah,
bro. He builds them and he
yeah,
fucking pushes those bitches. He takes it
yeah,
out to Texas and films it like he's proven. Like that
yeah,
little supercar he built. He broke a fucking record. He beat the
yeah,
Bugatti.
yeah,
He took
yeah,
it out
yeah,
to show everybody, look, I beat the Bugatti. I beat the $5 million
yeah.
car with this car. So that right there says a lot. Like homeboy's not scared to put his shit to the test. I respect that.
What I would like to see, and maybe we can do this is, and I don't care win or lose, you know what I mean, but I want to call out some of these supercars and some of these other shops once I get my car dialed in,
Yep.
and I figure out who's going to build, maintain my car. But I want to call out these cars and say, hey, I built this car, but it's not a trailer queen. I don't just put it around town. I say, you want to do something. Let's go do something.
Yeah.
But my thing is, run it. Don't have this car and it looks hella sick. That's why I give the Dunk Master props. He runs this shit.
Yeah, he does.
He runs this shit, bro. You know what I mean? He's building it, and he's putting his money where his mouth is. And even that guy, I don't know if you ever seen. There's a guy that I-95 dude. He's on Instagram or YouTube, and I'm not really into dunks, but I like the ingenuity. But he was talking about like, okay, this is 150,000 dunk. This is a quarter million. This is like 350,000. But he builds these cars at different levels, and at the end of the day, a lot of them dudes down in Florida, down south, they're running their shit on tracks. You know
Yeah,
what I
they
mean?
are.
They're
Yeah, they
running
are.
it. It ain't like California where a dude's he's got a GT3 and this and that. He zips around, whatever. But I'm saying, dude, run your shit at the highest level. And then if it doesn't break, you know that what you paid for, you got your money's worth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't even know if you got your money worth. If you built your car and you put 5,000 miles on it, you never broke 100 miles, and you sell the car, bro, you really wasted. I mean, all those years for nothing.
That's true. That's what's sad. A lot of guys build it. They build it for SEMA. They get to enjoy it for the show. They got a little, what you call it, a little bragging piece. And next, some rich dude comes along, baller, like, "What's up? Let me buy your car off you." And somehow that owner's like over it. All right, I'll sell it. A lot of cars get sold at SEMA. People don't know that. I got offered $120 for mine at SEMA, and I went back and forth. Should I sold it? Should I kept it? Demetrius, the owner of Arcadio, wanted my car after the show. Threw me a
Oh
buck
wow.
20. I was thinking like, damn, why didn't I just take the cash and run with it and just do something else? But fuck it, I kept the car, and here we are now. But there was a lot of like back and forth in my head, like should I have let the car go? Because I didn't get to enjoy it. It just literally got built for SEMA, made it to SEMA. Literally, they're washing the car and drying it as the fucking trailer was pulling up to take it to SEMA. I still got the video on my phone when they were just picking it up. But so I was like, fuck, nah, I don't want to sell it, man. I'm gonna keep it. I didn't need the money at the time, but I was thinking like, damn,
Yeah,
maybe I should
SEMA's definitely a hot spot. I mean, even even a lot of the cars you see at Bear Jackson, like people don't really they get them. And I remember a guy buying a car, and dude, as soon as they bought the car, he had to take it straight to a shop. He paid like 200 some thousand, and the car wasn't dialed in. The fuel injection. After like 80 miles per hour, the car would like bog out, and you got to get this fixed, and so a lot of stuff is still not dialed in. So my
Yep.
thing is, if you know how to build cars, because there was a shop I took my car to out here, and they try to get crazy with me, man. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we get a bunch of cars from Barrett Jackson." And I brought them my car. They messed up a bunch of shit, cost me a bunch of money that I had to refix that they messed up. And then the lady had the nerve to say, "You brought a car in here from 1980s, and you want to run like it's 2024." I'm like, "Yeah, bitch. You
Yeah.
know, that's you,
That's the whole
you know
purpose. Yes.
that's the point." She's
Yes.
like, why'd you bring your car to us then if you couldn't get it fixed? That's like, why'd you touch it if you couldn't fix it?
Exactly. Why'd you take the job on? Don't take the job on and then blame me. I'm the customer, you fucking moron. If you don't know how to do the job, don't do the job. You're right. They never want to take accountability, bro.
No,
Swear
no.
it. They need to get their head knocked off, man. And I'm not trying to make no threats. It's just like enough's enough with the bullshit, man. It's really getting fucking old. Like they pull these fast ones on customers and at our expense, like we're rich. You know what I'm saying? And we're supposed to eat it. Like, yeah, we're bringing it to you because this is the age of 2024 where we put modern shit in old cars and you can make it perform like a new car. It's just a shell, lady. That's all you're. You put in modern suspension, modern brakes, modern motor, modern everything. So yes, I expect it to perform like a 2024. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of Resto My Pro Touring. Now, is it going to be as smooth as a brand new car coming off the line? No, I don't expect it to that smooth, but I do expect it to perform. I'll put
Yeah.
everything that a new school vet or a new school Camaro has into this old car. So yes, I expect it to perform. What's the problem? Why can't it perform? Why can the engine work in a new Corvette and a new Camaro like my Z, but it can't work in an old shell? Explain to me why. It's the same engine. Why can't it work? Same brakes,
No,
same train,
you're
same,
exactly right.
same drivetrain. So why can't it perform the same? Explain to me why. But you guys you go to autocross and you see these dudes with these badass cars, and then that might be show style. That might be like street show
Yeah.
caliber.
Yeah.
But they perform, man. They
Yeah.
perform. They get it in. I know. My boy Nick, shout out Boy Garage. He does all his own wrenching and everything. I'm envious of that. He wrenches his own car, so he's lucky. He gets to dial his own cars, and he ain't got to wait on no dummies touching his car. He does it on. His car performs. He's up there on the Optima and the whole pro touring scene. He started as a rookie. He was just doing it for fun. He got so good at it. The dude's damn near like a pro now, competing.
Wow. Yeah, that Optima, those cars, the pro touring cars on that tour are like you said, top notch. People drive them, rock chips, paint
Yes.
chips. They beat on them, bro. Those cars are really cars they drive. And then my thing is, I always wanted a car where it's clean, but if I want to, I could drive it to the track and drive it home. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So if I can do that, because if I take my car to the track, it ain't like I'm trying to set records there. I just want to be able to do a few laps, have
Have
some
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and enjoy it. You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
if I want to go from Arizona to Vegas or
Yeah.
wherever, I can get in the car, put the AC on, and be good.
Yeah. That's how I felt. Same as you. Like I want to go to LA someday, like get in the car and just drive. Why not? Why can't I do that? See, this is what I say. How the fuck did cars from the 50s, 60s, and 70s cross from eastern United States to western United States? People traveled back in those days with old ass cars, with old ass drum brakes, with old carburetors, and they still made it across the country. So you mean to tell me we can't do that today?
Yeah,
Modern everything, fuel injection, computers, and everything. Come on, man, get out of here. Miss me
yeah.
with that bullshit. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of drag, and I'm
Yeah,
like you, man. We might start a little side service where we go and we do shop investigations to find out what shops are really who they claim to be. Because, like you said, the heartache of getting a shop. I've had to have my car towed out of state and then back across state, and that shit, man. Every time you move your car, you lose parts. Somebody blames somebody. Dude, it's a
yeah,
headache. And so I feel for those people who have started out one shop and had to go to multiple shops and realize that, at the end of the day, they still ain't got their car done, and then it's like it gets depressing. So,
Yeah.
I think it's important to have somebody, or maybe provide something where, hey man, can you check this out for me? And that way people don't have to go through the shit we went through, bro. Because like I said, I've been through some situations on cars, and it's like, dude, I'm like,
Yeah. And,
it'd be a lot easier to buy some shit.
and people don't know, like, you don't know who you're fucking with. We've both been behind the fence. We got that in us where we could flip a switch on you real quick and take one of them wrenches and bust that shit upside your head and learn the hard way, homie. Like, they ain't seen that side of me. There's times where I just want to snap, but at the same time, like, I try to keep the peace because I'm also afraid, like, I don't want them to blow my shit up on the dyno, then blame my motor or something crazy. You don't want that, because I might do something there's no coming back from. I know myself.
Yeah.
I have that in me. So I try to keep that beast in check. Like, don't let him out, because if I let him out, I'm going to do something and it can cost me my freedom. And at the same time, is it worth it? At one point in me, it's like, yeah, teach him a lesson, I'll feel good. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to lose my freedom. Because if I go there, I might go all the way. You know what I'm saying? Something stupid where I might hurt this individual pretty good.
Well, too, what'd be cool is, if we have, when we have the time, is to visit some of the shops, and like we said, get some of the shop owners on the channel to talk about what customers should expect, and from a shop owner perspective, what they're dealing with. Because I don't want to just bang all the shop owners.
No.
There's guys out there who are really, they're trying their best. And
Yes.
I know it's hard to find good work these days. I mean, if you're a guy and you have a certain standard, a lot of these young people nowadays, like you said, they're on drugs. They just want to make a quick dollar. They're not trying to really put the pride into the shop. And, and if you got a guy doing suspension and he just puts it on there, but he's not double checking and making sure everything how it is, that's your name on the line, your reputation. So, yeah, man, we're going to try to get you guys, we're trying to get some shops on here. And if you're a shop, or you guys build cars and you would like to, get at us, man, shoot us a message, man.
Yeah, for sure. And any of you guys who has any shop horror experiences, man, reach out to me or Herc, man. We'll want to post some shorts on YouTube. We'll post it on our stories, because we need to know, man. We need to find out, because, like I said, we're trying to protect these future car builders and not leave them with a sour taste in their mouth, because you have a sour taste and so do I. You know what I'm saying?
And I think a lot of people are embarrassed, so they don't want to say nothing.
Yeah.
And it's all right. I've went through it, you guys, so don't feel bad. Mike has been through it, and together we can make it out of shop prison.
Yeah, right. Like, we've both been behind the fence, and our fucking cars are behind the fence forever. Like, I'm going on 7 years. Part of it's my fault. Part of it, I lost interest and I stopped throwing money at it and didn't push it. But then part of it is he went through a fucking shop breakup where his employees were just dropping like flies, and the shop was in turmoil. The new owners took over. They seem like they're doing better. They're getting things done in there. And I made an agreement with the new owner. I basically gave him an old shell of mine, a 69 Camaro. Here you go. Pink slip signed over.
Well, we'll tap in again next week, and have some more cool stories to share with you guys. And Mike, go ahead and drop your social media again for people. We'll have it in the link. Exactly. All right. Well, man, hey, I got to go grab something to eat. My man, he's got to feed the yolks. So you guys, hey, thank you for tuning in. BigHerc916, Mike Escobar, muscle up. All right. Like what you just got through watching with the car podcast with me and Mike Escobar. Go to Muscle Up Car Lifestyle YouTube. Links in the description. Subscribe. Over there, I talk about nothing but cars. But I want to keep you guys in the loop over here on BigHerc916. So make sure you go to Muscle Up Car Lifestyle YouTube and subscribe for my Nothing But Car channel. Stay tuned.
Are you tired of smelling funky? Have you washed your ass? go to BigHerc916.com and get your nutsack right.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.
Officially, I only got one real spanking my entire life. My mom did the best a 14-year-old could do, raising me with love and instilling values that will last a lifetime. I was a straight A student and lived to make her happy. So how did I go astray? A horrible stepdad that stole my self-worth and invoked fear turned me into a person that I struggled to overcome. From skateboarding to selling drugs, gang banging in juvenile hall, I got caught the same way many young promising men get caught up. I struggled to find my identity, getting mixed up in shootouts, crime, and the adult entertainment industry. This roller coaster continued as I juggled college, hustling, and Hollywood, eventually catching a federal bank robbery case. I found redemption in prison while serving a 120-month federal sentence and came out a man on a mission. I became a social media influencer with over 500 million views on YouTube and a life coach mentoring people all over the world. This is my journey against all odds.